Is Wreckfest worth our time? We're about to find out. Welcome everyone to episode 202 of 1 Hour, 1 Decision, 1H1D. I am Chris.
And I am Tom.
And we take 60 minutes and play a random game on Xbox Game Pass and decide, well, Tom, is smashing things a good time?
I'm going to wreck it.
Yeah. We're going to try wrecking things today with the game developed by Bugbear Entertainment.
I didn't know they made entertainment for bugbears.
Well, now you do, because they've been doing it for quite some time. And this game came out in stages, it seems like, Tom. It came out in June of 2018 to the PC, then August 2019 to PS4 and Xbox One, then May 2024 to the PS5 and Xbox Series consoles, then, get this, December 2021 to the Stadia. Yeah.
Wow.
Stadia had something. June 2022, the Switch got this game. And finally, November 2022, this game came to Android and iOS. So
that's a lot of different dates.
It's a lot of different dates, a lot of different ways to play this game. So kudos to them. Kudos to them for that. And I played this on the PC, which is the OG, and it was 26.82 gigabytes on the PC. Tom, what about you?
Okay. So the initial install is 22.02 gigabytes.
Okay.
However, there is a supplemental add-on that is 21.94 gigabytes for the series consoles.
Wow.
So it depends.
Balloons.
It depends. You could just install it at the 2202.
Yeah.
But if you want to be optimized for the series consoles, it's an additional 21.94 gigabytes.
Interesting.
Indeed.
Okay. Well, with that tiny hard drive, that must have been a little hurtful.
Yeah.
To get that kind of surprise there. But speaking of surprise, what kind of game is this, Tom?
Well, I put racing ! And then I was like, it's also like a simulation racing, like more specifically.
Mm-hmm.
And also it's not just racing. There's the demolition derby aspect. So
right.
A little bit more than just racing.
Yeah. I put car racing / demolition derby simulator.
Yeah. Definitely leans more sim than arcade for sure.
Yeah. Yeah. That's what I thought too. But yeah, we'll talk about it a little bit. But before we get to that, let's talk about that game loop.
Yes. Compete in various motorsport events while smashing up your opponents to win.
Yeah. I put be the best. Get first place while keeping your car intact and try to complete secondary objectives.
Yes, I do appreciate the secondary objectives.
Yeah. And I guess we'll just mosey on down to that likes there then, Tom.
Yeah, so I think it's got a nice mix of racing and demo derby events and also, like you said, objectives.
Mm-hmm.
It's not just the one kind of game.
Right. Yeah. Like most racing games, the idea is like get to first place, get the best time, whatever. But here, like there are certain times where it's like, okay, spin someone out or crash someone out. There's like, I guess, different terminologies for those things. I thought they were basically the same thing, but I guess not. So yeah, there was that to keep in mind while you progress through your game. And there is quite a bit of things to do in this game. There is just the career mode, but then you can again play multiplayer. Up to 16 people can play. Then there's like a tournament mode and just like a regular kind of exhibition mode and stuff like that. And then there's a lot of customization, which I think you kind of touched on, right?
For sure. I like that there definitely are great customization options for the cars, which you kind of segued there. What I liked a lot is that you get to playing the game incredibly fast.
Yeah.
Like there are no cutscenes. There's no like nonsense filler at all. Like you land at this like home screen and it's like play the game. Like you're literally off to the races.
Yeah.
And the first event, you have some options you can pick. You don't have to start here, but it is like kind of the first one they kind of spoon feed you is a lawnmower demolition derby.
Yeah.
And I went to myself, is this like real? Like, does this exist in real life? If it does, that's amazing.
Yeah.
But it seems very, very dangerous.
I mean, like, because when you play that, you knock people off of these lawnmowers and then you proceed to run over them, which I was like, good Lord. Like, this is part of it. And I just really hope these people have great life insurance and insurance in general, because it seems like that'd be a problem.
Yeah, it would be very bad. Watching the cars take damage is really cool.
Yeah.
Like, aside, knocking people over off of lawnmowers, which probably isn't very realistic, or maybe is very realistic, but just doesn't happen.
Yeah.
When these cars collide with one another, it's satisfying in a way that, like, a lot of like arcade racers where it's like they have a license with some company, and so the car can't even take a scratch or whatever. Yeah. No, that's not what happens here. Like, the wheels will fall off, basically.
Right.
And it impacts the mechanics of how the cars drive.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
You hear it. You can hear the damage on the car, and you can feel it in the steering of the car. So I don't know. I really enjoyed that aspect of it.
Yeah, it was very, very impressive. And then the fact that, kind of going back to the customization stuff, you can armor up your car.
Yes.
And put stuff on there, so you become just like this Mad Maxian vehicle, just tearing other vehicles apart and stuff like that. It was pretty cool. And yeah, like, just the damage modeling was just like, oh, I wonder what happens if I smash this car into, like, in this way. And it was like, you would see like the doors just like fall off or fold up. And I think someone hit me at one point and my whole front left side was just gone. It was just, at that point, it was just exposed tire, just driving around. I'm like, okay, all right, we're doing that. And yeah, like, on top of that, there's like a rival that happens within the race. I guess if someone hits you in a certain way, they become your rival, and then you have to like get them back. So you have to hit them as hard, and then you get points for doing that. So it was like, aggression is a very big part of this game, and it just gave me those vibes of Burnout, but like in a more, I guess, like tamed version of it, I guess, in a way, because it's Burnout was very, very showy. Like, they wanted you to like have that 360 view, slow down time kind of thing, and then like just get really into the weeds of like how the pact was, stuff like that. So, but yeah, it was fun though. It was fun to just kind of go through and just smash cars while trying to get to first place, because everyone else is trying to do that too.
Yeah, it's like a realistic Mario Kart.
Yeah, you can say that.
In that, like, you really are, it's not Twisted Metal. Like, you're not really shooting each other,
right?
Or anything like that. Unlike Mario Kart. Right. In this game, maybe you have to do 3 laps as a, for instance, right?
Yeah.
The first lap, everything's pristine and nice. And and all of the fences are on their posts, and all of the tires that, break your fall or whatever are there. And then you go through it one time and, oh boy, you've made a mess of things.
Yeah.
And then when you're driving through on lap 2, that whole mess is still there.
It's still there.
And I was like, I appreciated that it's like you're doing damage not just to your competitors, but to the course.
The track. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it was just like the sheer pandemonium that happens on the track. Like, right out the gate, you could see people just jockeying for position, and it was just unbelievable. And then, like, as you kind of pick up speed and you're going through the course, just seeing cars just like flying into each other, some of them just like flipping over, and you're just like, okay, this is happening. This would not happen in like a Gran Turismo or something like that, because most of the time that was like very bumper cars. And it was just like very it's just cool to see all that stuff happen. And you're like part of it. And I also I appreciate the variety of like views that you can get. You've got the third person view, but then you can go all the way into the cockpit or the driver's seat, and then all the way to the front of the bumper, or what's left over there. So like it was pretty cool. I felt like and the races didn't feel super long, so you can get in and out of a race too, which was helpful, because you can just get like one in and then be like, all right, cool, I'm good here, and move on. So what else you got here in terms of likes?
I did like that you were able to pick like which event you wanted. Let's say you were doing the career, which is what I was doing.
Mm-hmm.
You had options. It wasn't just proceed to next event. It was like you could access maybe 3 or 4, potential events.
Mm-hmm.
And you got to pick like, okay, did you want to do a demolition derby right now? Did you want to do a race right now? Like you had some flexibility in terms of what was available to you. And as you complete events, you unlock other events. Mm-hmm. And so like you always have at least a couple of options in terms of what the next thing is.
Yeah, kind of cool. I do appreciate the variety in that sense. And like I mentioned, I played this on the PC. I appreciate that there was like an initial loading time, but like if you did have to restart the particular race, it was very fast. It was like boom, like you're right back into it. You didn't have to like reload everything. So I thought that was kind of cool. So I don't know how that was on the Xbox, but I don't know if you're ready to go. We can get to our dislikes there.
Yeah. The career mode, just real quick, has a lot of rewards and a lot of unlocks. Right. And I appreciate that. I felt like I was making progress and getting a little pat on the back as I completed each of these events. So
you were getting credits for anything that you kind of completed, which I appreciated that there wasn't like, oh, I have to take something away from you now or something like that. There was no punishment. It was more like, here you go.
Yeah, it was all positive reinforcement. So.
Exactly.
But now that I'm done with positively reinforcing this game, let's talk about all the negatives.
Yeah. Let's talk about it.
So while it's really cool to drop me into the game and I'm playing the game really fast, there is zero tutorial.
Yeah.
Like not even to show me the controls.
Yeah.
So Chris and I are experienced video gamers here. But like if you weren't, well, good luck. Like they don't even tell you where the accelerator is. You know what I mean? Like no explanation.
No, none whatsoever. And I don't know. I guess we're at the time of this recording is 2024, and it's like maybe the expectation is just like you should know by now. I mean, granted, this game came out in 2018, but it was like, okay, that is interesting that they didn't even like throw something in there. Just throw me a bone, just like even a quick pause and be like, hey, this is how you accelerate or whatever. Nothing at all. But this is a racing game, and if you're not first, you're last, like Mr. Ricky Bobby. So it was incredibly frustrating because for me, it was like I felt like there were times where I was doing pretty well on the first 2 laps, and then for some reason someone would clip me, and that was it. Yeah. It's game over. Like I had to restart the whole thing again. I did appreciate that restarts were very quick, but it was still like, I got to do this whole thing all over again. And it was just so frustrating. And that was like one of my biggest gripes about this game was just that. And the funny thing is I was playing this on, I guess, the default setting, which is easy. So I'm just really curious how difficult this AI gets once you crank up the difficulty, because goodness gracious, there was definitely moments where I'm like, good Lord, they're just trying to go for my head.
I was playing on normal. Yeah. And I was definitely getting frustrated. I don't know if you felt this way, but I felt like the controls were very floaty. Like it was very easy for me to oversteer. And I don't know, maybe perhaps that was by design. Maybe that's what the real world is like. It's a simulation game. And I'm more comfortable with the arcade style.
Yeah, I mean, I think for most of the time that at least I was playing, it was on dirt tracks, and then they would have sometimes patches of like regular tarmac or whatnot. But I guess they're saying like, when you're on dirt, you're going to be a bit more loosey goosey or whatnot. But like I agree that there was certain times where I just felt like I had no control of the car or something like that, and it was definitely a bit frustrating. And like you had to like try to figure out when to feather the brakes or when to. It was weird because I felt like I had to constantly just jam on the accelerator, and like if I'd let go of the gas at any point, they'd be coming for me because like my car just didn't have enough speed, and it was like really frustrating because I had to just like be constantly on the gas. So it was a challenging game, maybe a little bit too challenging for me. So I don't know about you, but I thought the music selection was just all over the place. There was like dubstep, and then there was like metal, and then kind of like this very floaty EDM music at times too. I'm like, wait, what's going on? Like, what? Just pick a lane and let me just go with that. It was just very weird. I don't know if you heard any of the music, because like the other part about it was I didn't really hear much music while I was playing the game. It was just like in the menus, and it was like blasting. It was in the menus.
Yeah, you're right. I remember it in the menus. I don't really remember it in the racing, and I don't know if that's because of the mix or because it was off or what.
Yeah, it was just very, very odd. Very odd feeling. And then just to kind of quickly touch base on just audio in general. Audio overall was like, when you were like hitting cars and stuff like that sounded fine. It was just like, I don't know, it was just the car that I had. It just, the engine noise was all I heard. It was just droning on and on, especially like in the demolition derby. It was just all I heard was that engine just go. And it started to like really bother me by the end of the derby. It was kind of frustrating, but I don't know how you felt about that.
I gotta be honest, the audio didn't bother me at all. It didn't register on my dislikes here, but there are some other things that did.
Please.
So it's cool that you really can customize your car, but you can't customize your racer at all. All of the racers are just man in a black jumpsuit with a white helmet.
Yeah,
and that's just who they all are, I guess.
Well, they should have asked the guys at Football Manager of 2024. Who was that? Sport? Give me that character creator.
It's just weird. It's weird to me that you couldn't even pick the color of the jumpsuit and the helmet, right?
Yeah.
Like I understand. Maybe you don't want to spend resources on this, when there's so many resources obviously dedicated to the car and the physics and all that sort of stuff. But like really basic, just style of my helmet. Maybe pick a different colored jumpsuit would have been cool.
I don't know, man. It's weird.
I found that the demolition derby, so the lawnmower one was great.
Yeah.
But then I did like the regular demolition derby and it dragged. Like
really? Yeah.
I did well, but like hunting down that last car and trying to clip them and knock them out felt like it took forever.
That's true.
There's a lot of action up front when there are a lot of cars and everybody's slamming into each other. But by the end of it, I felt like I was like, come on, let me just hit this guy and get out of here.
Oh, because the other part of it is all the taking out cars are still there, so you have to like navigate them too, and it's definitely frustrating when you're just like, for me a lot of times, and I don't know, it's because I'm so ingrained to avoid cars in not only in the real world but in the video game world. So like I'd be like dead set and going right into this car, and then like I instinctively would just like steer off to the side and like, no, that's not what I meant to do. It's just, I chickened out for sure. And but yeah, that was definitely a frustrating experience with the derby, because you're just like trying to hit them, and then you're like, if you didn't get enough speed, it didn't count as a hit and things like that. So I feel you with that. But like I said, this game made me miss Burnout a lot, and I was like, oh man, I should be playing that instead. But whatever.
While I appreciate that the UI was very quick and fast and clean and no nonsensey, there is an unabashed loading screen where it just says loading. And, we're in the modern era of games. Just like you couldn't find a way to hide that. Yeah. Like load me to like a settings menu and then load the game behind that menu. Like it's weird to watch loading screens for me. I just
agreed. That would have been a great place to at least like put some tips, tutorials,
right? Like that. You could have walked me through the controls while you loaded the game in the background.
Get a nice little Xbox controller up there, like the UI saying accelerate, brake, or whatever. Do that.
There are plenty of things it could have taught me. It could have taught me about how to unlock some of these restricted events.
Yeah,
there are icons and things, but I don't know what those icons mean because nobody ever told me what they mean.
Yeah, and speaking of the other modes, I just realized that when I did back out a little bit just to see if I can get to the other parts of the single player mode, and there's a tournament mode, but it was not locked. It was yeah, it was locked in my experience. And I was like, huh, okay. So I guess I have to get to a particular level in my career for that to be available. So kind of frustrating for sure to see that.
You know what else was frustrating, Chris? Was locating this update for the XS series thing. It does not download it by default, and you have to kind of navigate through the Xbox menus to go look for the additional add-on.
Yeah.
And then once you do find it, it doubles the install size.
That's ridiculous.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
I don't know. I thought it was just going to like switch it out or something.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Just gave you an extra 20 gigs to slap onto your hard drive.
Yeah, it goes 44 gigs when it was all done.
Crazy. All right. Cool. Should we get to our other thoughts then, Tom?
I think so.
All right. How Long to Beat says this game takes about 17 and a half hours to complete. So pretty meaty career campaign or whatever. So, and this game does have xCloud gaming, so you can play this remotely and all that fun stuff. And like I mentioned earlier, this does have online multiplayer for up to 16 players. So pretty cool.
Very neat.
Yeah. What you got?
Okay, so I learned that this is the quote unquote spiritual successor to the FlatOut series.
Oh.
It is made by the same developers. So Bugbear Entertainment made FlatOut. The working title for this game was Next Car Game.
Okay.
And it was in an early access phase for 4 years.
Oh, wow.
That's a long time.
Yeah.
So digging a little bit more into that, the developers failed to fund a $350K Kickstarter, which isn't a lot of money in the video game space.
Yeah.
So that's very surprising to, when you think about most of these Kickstarters, they want $1 million plus.
Yeah.
And then you have
look at Star Citizen.
Yeah, you have games that just get so much money that the developers are like, well, we never need to make this game. They failed their Kickstarter, but pivoted to a pre-order program through their website, and that worked.
Okay.
And that led into this early access thing. So
very cool.
Obviously, it all played out in the end because the game exists.
Yeah. And it exists in multiple places.
They found their audience.
Yeah.
I also noted here it uses something called a soft body damage modeling, which is how they do that realistic damage, like how that damage, how it looks real, but also impacts the vehicle in a meaningful way. So it's if you get hit, on your right side, that's going to affect your steering. It's going to affect, that sort of stuff.
All right. Cool. Good to know. All right, Tom. Are we keeping this game Wreckfest on our respective hard drives, or are we throwing it into the trash pile? Trash compact. I don't know. You know what I'm talking about. The junkyard.
Yeah. Are we going to run over this game with a monster truck in a different game? So the first round that I did, that lawnmower derby, was awesome.
Yeah.
Like, I had a fantastic time with that. Then I went to that car demolition derby, and I was like, please let this end. Like, I enjoyed the beginning of it. And then, like I said, it was like just driving around in circles forever. Then I really struggled with those races until I changed my approach.
Okay.
So I started to go, okay, this is not an arcade racer. I cannot play this like an arcade racer. I can't play this like I would play Mario Kart.
Yeah.
And that allowed me to win, but led me to the realization that this game is very much a simulation game. And I like arcade games. So I think I'm good.
Okay. All right. That's good to know. For me, like, I did enjoy my time. Like I said, like you mentioned too, the lawnmower thing was quite the intro to the game. And I had a good time there. I had a good time with all the modes. The modes are really cool. But at the end of the day, it's a racing game. And like most of my time with racing games, I get really frustrated, minus burnout, at my just ineptitude at the end. It just doing all that work to be in first place for like the first half, first two thirds, and then like a small tap has just totally screwed me. And that is incredibly frustrating for me. But maybe it's not for someone else. And I'm not going to try to dissuade you from that. But at the same time, for me, I'm going to have to pass on this game too. So
understandable.
Yeah. So those are our thoughts. Let us know what you think of this game. Follow us and say hello on Twitter or on Threads at TC1H1D. Shoot us an email at tc1h1d@outlook.com or check out Extremes on Twitch at twitch.tv/1h1d. And hey, you might be watching this on YouTube. And if you are, send us a comment down below. Maybe there's some other cool modes that we didn't get a chance to try. Maybe we should give that a shot. Or whatever other destruction derby-like games you like out there. That'd be cool for us to find out. 1H1D is part of the QTV network, and if you like any great gaming content, check it all out at quitthebuild.com/network. Now, Tom.
Yes, Chris.
We need to smash that surprise me button and find out what we're playing next, don't we?
Yes, we do.
Well, here we go. All right. It is not Football Manager 2025.
Okay.
It is Resident Evil 3 Remake.
I was going to say Resident Evil 3 is quite old.
Yeah, but, the remaster or remake or whatever it's called. It's just called Resident Evil 3.
Okay.
On here. But yeah, that's what we're playing next. And thank you so much, everyone, for tuning into this episode. And we will catch you on the next one.
Thanks, everybody.